There are moments in life when something stirs deep inside you, a restlessness, a whisper you cannot explain. You go through the motions, you smile when you're supposed to, you chase what everyone else chases. Yet in the quiet, when the noise fades, a question rises. Is this all there is? Most people silence that question. They drown it in distraction, bury it under responsibilities, or laugh it off as nothing more than imagination. But the truth is, that question is not random. It is the sign of something deeper. It is the evidence that the world around you is not what it seems, because there is a deception hidden in plain sight. It has shaped the way you see yourself, the way you measure success, the way you decide what is possible. It does not scream. It whispers. It does not push. It lulls. And for most, it is so subtle they never realize they've been caught in it their entire lives. But there are a few, only a few, who feel the cracks, who sense that the illusions don't add up, who know, without proof, that they were meant for more than the script they've been handed. If you are here, listening, then you are one of them, and this message is not coincidence. It is a signal, a call to wake up, to see beyond the surface, to step into the truth that has been waiting for you all along. The deception is deep, but the truth is deeper, and once your eyes open, there is no going back. 1. The hidden deception. Have you ever wondered why so many people live their lives feeling like something is missing, even when they seem to have everything? Why do the richest, the most admired, the most celebrated among us still confess to emptiness behind closed doors? It is because the greatest trap ever laid was never built with chains of iron, but with illusions carefully woven into the very fabric of our daily lives. The deception is silent. It does not march into your room and demand your obedience. It whispers, gently, quietly, until you believe the voice is your own. It tells you that success is a number in your bank account, that beauty is measured by the mirror, that power comes from approval, and that your worth depends on what others think of you. You have heard these whispers all your life, and because they echo everywhere, you assumed they were truth. But imagine this. What if the most dangerous weapon in history was not the sword, not the gun, not even the nuclear bomb, but the lie? A lie so convincing it persuaded kings to bow, warriors to surrender, and visionaries to blindfold themselves. That lie is still alive, circling our world like a shadow, pressing itself into minds so subtly that most never see it. Think about how society is designed. From childhood, you are taught what to chase, what to admire, what to fear. Advertisements don't just sell products, they sell you identities, lifestyles, fabricated destinies. Media doesn't simply report the world. It carefully edits reality until you forget that you were ever meant to question it. Even people closest to you, parents, teachers, friends, repeat the same phrases, because they too have been shaped by the deception. And so, generation after generation, the cycle continues. But every cycle has cracks. Have you noticed the feeling? That tug in your spirit that something is off, that what you were told doesn't add up? That sense that the life you were promised, the one filled with endless pleasure, possessions, and applause, isn't really life at all. That is not just doubt. That is the alarm clock of the soul, urging you to wake up before the dream becomes a coffin. The hidden deception doesn't scream. It lulls. It seduces. It promises comfort while quietly stealing your strength. It distracts you with entertainment while your purpose slips through your fingers. It convinces you to measure yourself by scars instead of victories, by failures instead of resilience. And the cruelest part? It never forces you. It waits for you to accept the terms willingly. Look closer, and you'll see its fingerprints everywhere. The pressure to keep scrolling, to keep buying, to keep competing, to keep proving that you belong. The silent shame when you fall short. The exhaustion of chasing a moving target called enough. It is not random. It is engineered. It is the architecture of control disguised as normal life. Yet here you are, listening, which means part of you already suspects the truth, that you were never meant to be ordinary, that the systems designed to shrink you are terrified of what happens if you ever see yourself clearly. The fact that you are here right now is proof that the deception has cracks, and through those cracks, light's already breaking in. 2. Awakening to true identity. You've been told you're ordinary, that you're just another person in the crowd, no different, no greater, no chosen purpose. They told you your mistakes define you. They told you your scars are proof of weakness. They told you to stay small, to keep quiet, to live safely inside the walls they built for you. But I will tell you something those voices never wanted you to hear. They lied. You are not ordinary. You are not random. You are not an accident. The proof is in the fire you've walked through. Think back to the battles you fought, the ones no one saw, the nights you cried alone, the days when you carried pain and still showed up anyway. Do you think you survived all of that by chance? Do you think you held on this long just to fade into the background? Number. Every wound you carry is a testimony that you were built stronger than you realized. The truth they tried to bury is this: you are chosen. Not chosen because you are perfect, not chosen because you never fell, but chosen because, even in your lowest moments, there is a spark inside you that refused to go out. That spark is not from you. That spark is divine. It is the whisper you've heard in your spirit. The whisper that says, you are made for more. And yet, here is the tragedy. Most people ignore it. They convince themselves that the whisper is imagination. They silence it with distractions, with excuses, with fear. They live their whole lives chasing what others told them was important, only to discover at the end that they never really lived. But not you, not now. Because once you hear the truth, you cannot unhear it. Once you recognize the voice calling you higher, you cannot pretend you didn't notice. That restless feeling inside you is not your enemy. It's your compass. It is pointing you toward who you really are. Look at your life again. Every time you fell, you also rose. Every time you doubted, you also endured. Every time you felt like you were breaking, something inside you was being rebuilt stronger. These are not random events. They are training. They are evidence. They are preparation for the purpose that has been inside you from the beginning. The world will not confirm this for you. The systems around you will not applaud it. Do you know why? Because if you ever fully believed who you are, you would no longer be controllable. You would no longer settle for the illusion. You would no longer bow to the deception. You would rise, and when you rise, everything around you changes. So hear me. You are marked. You are set apart. You are living proof that struggle does not destroy destiny. It forges it. The fire you've walked through didn't burn you. It branded you, and that mark is not shame. It is your calling. Do not shrink back. Do not call yourself small when heaven calls you chosen. You are not here by accident. You are here because the time has come to see yourself as you truly are. A carrier of light, a breaker of chains, a force designed to shift atmospheres. This is not wishful thinking. This is truth. This is identity. And once you awaken to it, there is no going back. 3. Lessons from history and scripture. History remembers names, but rarely the doubts that lived inside them. When we speak of heroes, we imagine them fearless, certain, unshakable. Yet the truth is more unsettling. They were just like you, ordinary in appearance, extraordinary in calling. Flawed, hesitant, often overlooked, yet marked by something greater than themselves. Take David. To the world, he was just a shepherd boy, the youngest, dismissed, underestimated. No armor, no reputation, no pedigree. When others saw only a child with a slingshot, God saw a giant slayer. The battle with Goliath wasn't about weapons, it was about sight. The army trembled because they saw a monster. David triumphed because he saw through deception. He looked at what terrified everyone else and said, "This is not bigger than the one who stands with me." Or think of Esther, a young woman hidden in the palace, chosen not because she was powerful, but because she was positioned. She carried fear, doubt, questions. Why me? Why here? Yet when the moment came, when silence would have meant destruction for her people, she found courage. Her identity wasn't in her title. Her strength wasn't in her beauty. Her victory was in her obedience to a purpose that reached beyond herself. Then there is Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, thrown into a pit, sold like property, forgotten in prison. If anyone had reason to believe he was abandoned, it was him. Yet in every low place the thread of destiny was weaving. The very betrayal that was meant to destroy him became the door that led him to Pharaoh's palace, where he preserved a nation. What looked like tragedy was preparation. What looked like loss was alignment. Moses, too, carried the weight of inadequacy. He stuttered. He doubted his ability to lead. He argued with God, insisting that someone else would be better. And yet, the same man who feared speaking became the voice that shattered Pharaoh's grip on Israel. His weakness was not erased. It was transformed into a vessel of power. And Paul, once a persecutor of believers, zealous in destroying what he did not understand. Blinded on the road to Damascus, he encountered truth so overwhelming that it rerouted his entire existence. The man who once hunted down the chosen became one of the greatest messengers of hope and transformation the world has ever known. Each story carries the same rhythm: overlooked beginnings, crushing trials, the weight of doubt. Yet breakthrough came not from who they thought they were, but from who they truly were in the eyes of God. These men and women weren't chosen because they fit the mold. They were chosen precisely because they didn't. And what about those beyond the pages of Scripture? Harriet Tubman, born into chains, denied freedom, stripped of dignity by a system built to erase her humanity. Yet she heard a higher voice. She refused to believe the lie that bondage was her destiny. Risking everything, she not only escaped, but returned again and again to free others. Ordinary woman, extraordinary calling. Do you see the pattern? Ordinary faces, ordinary flaws, ordinary doubts. But hidden beneath the ordinary was fire, purpose, unshakable identity. Their victories weren't accidents. They were awakenings. When you look at them, you are not meant to admire from a distance. You are meant to recognize yourself. Their stories are mirrors. If God could transform shepherds, orphans, prisoners, fugitives, skeptics, and slaves into leaders, liberators, and voices of hope, then what excuse remains for believing you are just ordinary? The same thread that ran through their lives runs through yours. The same voice that called them is calling you. Their history is not just history, it is prophecy, and it is speaking to you now. 4. Breaking chains and rising higher chains don't always rattle. Sometimes they look like comfort. Sometimes they sound like common sense. Sometimes they whisper, "Stay where you are." Don't risk it. Don't hope too much. Don't believe too deeply. But a chain is still a chain, even when it shines like gold. The enemy does not fear your exhaustion. He does not fear your busyness. He fears your awakening. Because once your eyes open, once you see the cage for what it is, the locks begin to rust. The lies begin to crumble. And the world you thought was unshakable suddenly shakes under your feet. Breaking chains isn't gentle. It isn't polite. It isn't clean. It's disruptive. It rattles the silence. It disturbs the illusion. It demands that you stop pretending the weight on your shoulders is just life. No, it is bondage. And bondage can be broken. You have carried words spoken over you that were never meant to define you. You're not enough. You'll never change. Who do you think you are? Every time you believe them, Another link wrapped tighter. Every time you stayed silent when you should have spoken. Another link. Every time you settled for less than what was burning inside you. Another link. Until the weight became familiar, until you thought it was part of you. But listen closely. You are not your chains. The struggle was real, yes. The failure was real, yes. The heartbreak was real, yes. But none of it has the power to cancel who you are becoming. Scars don't disqualify you. They authenticate you. Proof that you fought, proof that you endured, proof that you are still here when everything said you shouldn't be. And now the chains are trembling. Because truth does that. It exposes the fraud. You don't need to fight the way the world fights. You don't need to scream to prove your strength. Sometimes the loudest victory is simply standing tall when everything tried to keep you bowed. So rise. Rise, even if your knees are shaking. Rise, even if your voice cracks. Rise, even if the ground beneath you feels uncertain. Because every time you rise, something in the invisible world breaks. Every time you choose faith over fear, a chain falls. Every time you speak light into darkness, a chain falls. Every time you refuse to accept the label placed on you, a chain falls. The enemy cannot hold what refuses to bow, and when you rise, you do not rise alone. The atmosphere shifts. People watching you begin to see their own chains. Your courage becomes their spark. Your breaking becomes their blueprint. That is why your awakening matters. Not just for you, but for the ones connected to your story. Do not wait for permission. Do not wait for perfect conditions. The power to rise is already in you. The prison door is unlocked. All that's left is to push. Chains don't break because you are strong enough. Chains break because truth is stronger than lies. Light is stronger than darkness. Freedom is stronger than fear. So let the sound of your rising echo. Let the weight fall where it belongs, on the ground, behind you, no longer attached. Let your very presence be the proof that deception has failed. You are not meant to crawl through life. You are meant to walk with head lifted, steps firm, voice clear. The chains were never your identity. They were only the lie. And the lie has lost its power. 5. Purpose, legacy, and impact. Look beyond the moment you are in right now, past the deadlines, the bills, the noise of survival. Imagine your life stretched out across time, echoing into places you will never walk, touching faces you may never meet. Because whether you see it or not, that is what your life is doing. Every choice, every act of courage, every step in truth ripples forward. Your purpose was never meant to stop with you. It was planted in you to multiply, to outlive you, to become legacy. Think about it. When Abraham stepped out of his homeland with nothing but a promise, he could not see the nation waiting to be born through his obedience. When Esther walked into the throne room trembling, she could not see the countless generations of her people who would survive because she chose courage. When Joseph forgave his brothers, he could not imagine that his mercy would ripple into a story that still inspires thousands of years later. Legacy is not built in a moment. It is built in patterns, the patterns of faith, obedience, resilience, and vision. And here's the truth. You are weaving those patterns right now. When you choose integrity when no one is watching, you are writing a chapter that your children will read, even if they never see the page. When you choose forgiveness instead of bitterness, you are planting seeds that will grow in the soil of your community. When you stand in truth, even when it costs you, you are creating a path others will walk long after your feet are gone. Purpose was never meant to be selfish. It was never about building a name that dies when you die. Purpose is eternal. It flows into others and others and others, like a river that never dries up. And yes, the enemy has tried to steal that vision. He has tried to convince you that your life is too broken, too messy, too ordinary to matter. But even that lie is proof of how dangerous your truth really is. Because why would the enemy fight so hard if there wasn't something powerful at stake? Your impact cannot be measured by applause, by followers, by headlines. Your impact is measured by transformation. The people who breathe easier because of your courage. The families who heal because of your faithfulness. The futures rewritten because you chose to rise instead of bow. Legacy is not glamorous. Often it looks like small acts done consistently. A kind word when anger was easier. A risk taken when safety was louder. A vision pursued when doubt shouted that you were foolish. But these small acts are not small in eternity. They stack, they build, they create momentum that cannot be stopped. Do not think for a second that your pain is wasted. Even that becomes part of the story. Job's losses became the setup for restoration multiplied beyond what he ever imagined. Sarah's laughter of doubt turned into the laughter of joy when the promise finally arrived. Their stories remind us that even delay and suffering can become part of the legacy, shaping not only what you leave behind, but how you leave it. And this is where you must lift your eyes. The deception wants you trapped in the urgency of now, enslaved to what feels pressing today, but truth lifts you higher. Truth says your decisions matter for generations. Your obedience today could set someone free tomorrow. Your faith in this season could ignite hope in a generation yet unborn. Purpose is bigger than career. Legacy is bigger than reputation. Impact is bigger than survival. You were created to shift atmospheres, to rewrite narratives, to leave behind not just memories, but blueprints. And even now, history is waiting for the pages you are about to write. 6. Call to action. Enough waiting, enough hesitation, enough believing the lie that tomorrow will be a better day to begin. Tomorrow is a mirage. The only power you have is here, now, in this very breath. This is not the time to stay silent. This is not the time to stay seated. The deception you've lived under has already stolen too many years, too many dreams, too much potential. If you do not move now, the cage will close again, and this time the bars will feel permanent. But listen, you have the authority to break it, right now. Stop telling yourself you are not ready. Stop rehearsing your flaws as excuses. Stop shrinking when you were built to stand. The same spirit that called David from the fields, that pulled Joseph from the pit, that set Esther in the palace, that shook Paul on the road. That spirit is calling you. Not yesterday, not one day, now. Do you feel it? That heat in your chest, that stirring in your spirit, that voice whispering louder and louder. This is for you. Don't ignore it. Don't explain it away. Don't wait for confirmation from people who cannot see what was placed in you. You are chosen. That is the confirmation. So rise. Rise with your head high and your shoulders back. Rise even if your voice trembles. Rise even if your knees buckle. Because the act of rising is the declaration. It says, I will not bow to lies. I will not live in the cage. I will not let fear dictate my story. You are not being asked to be perfect. You are being asked to be willing. Willing to walk in truth. Willing to risk comfort for calling. Willing to let the world see the fire that has been hidden too long. The time for hiding is over. The time for delay is over. The time for waiting on a sign is over. This is the sign. Your voice is needed. Your presence is needed. Your courage is needed. Not tomorrow. Not one day. Now. Every step you take in faith weakens the grip of deception. Every word you speak in truth silences the noise of lies. Every act of courage you choose multiplies into lives you may never even meet. So don't just watch. Don't just listen. Move. Step. Speak. Break. Declare. This is not entertainment. This is a summons. The world does not need more silence. The world does not need more sleepwalkers. The world needs the fire inside you, burning in the open, unstoppable, undeniable. And here's the truth. Once you step into this, nothing will ever be the same. You will see differently, walk differently, speak differently. You will become the disruption the enemy always feared. So let it be written in your spirit right now. I am chosen. I am rising. I am unstoppable. Say it, write it, declare it until the chains have no choice but to fall. Because history will not wait for you. Destiny will not pause for your permission. The moment is here. The time is now. And you are the one. You've heard the whispers of deception. You've seen how it has shaped lives, stolen dreams, and convinced countless souls to live small. And you've also heard the truth, that you are not ordinary, not forgotten, not powerless. Now comes the choice. Because truth is not passive. It does not simply inform you. It demands you. Once you know who you are, you can never again pretend to be less. Once your eyes open, you cannot close them without betraying the very fire that burns within you. This is the moment history bends. This is the moment destiny tilts in your favor. Not tomorrow. Not when everything feels perfect. Now. You were not called to survive. You were called to transform. To disrupt the illusions. To carry light into places that have known only shadows. To speak words that break chains. To live a life that outlives you. And yes, it will cost you. Comfort will resist. Fear will scream. Doubt will whisper. But none of them have the authority to decide your future. Only truth does. So take the step. Claim your place. Live the calling written into your bones before you even knew your name. Let your life be the proof that deception does not win, that darkness cannot hold back a soul awakened to its purpose. You are not just one among many. You are chosen. You are marked. You are the answer to prayers that haven't even been spoken yet. Step into it. Stand in it. Live it. And never forget. This is not the end of your story. This is the beginning.